Hello, everyone, and welcome to Reliving the Extreme. Nate Maxon here. Before we start the show proper this week, I just wanted to make mention of something and someone. And for those of you that listen to the show, I know probably a lot of you are also listeners of the 605 Super Podcast, the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network. They do great shows over there, obviously. Great stuff. And as you know, listening to this show, we really appreciate humor on this show and comedy and wrestling comedy. And this past week, just a couple of days ago, Scott Cornish passed away. And I'd like to say this, and this, other people who knew him better probably gave better tributes. But I will say this. I didn't know Scott personally other than being friends on Facebook and listening to him on the 605 Super Podcast. And I'm going to say this right now. I enjoy that show very much. Scott was absolutely my favorite cast member. A wit beyond reproach. And hearing of his passing, although again, not knowing him personally, we don't make mention of a lot of people on the show like we know them. But I just feel like it's apropos, as a fellow quote-unquote humorist, I guess, to say Scott was unmatched wit and brought me to many hearty laughters when listening to him on the 605, his social media posts, some of his comments on posts. Always looked forward to reading or hearing anything from the great Scott Cornish. What a funny guy. What an entertaining man. Again, not knowing him personally, I can say, Scott, you brought me many, many hours of entertainment. So thank you for that. Rest in peace. My condolences to his friends and family. And Scott Cornish is a guy that definitely, and you can tell from all the outpouring right now on the social media, is definitely going to be missed. So I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents. Thanks, Scott Cornish, for his contributions to my entertainment, his contributions to the wrestling podcast community. And again, our condolences to his family and friends. Rest in peace, Scott. We'll miss you. July the 9th, 1996 is the episode of ECW we are covering this week on Reliving the Extreme. Nate Maxon here, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello, everybody.
And Chad, Nigeria, Austin.
Yep.
The Nigerian Dream.
Yep. That's right, baby.
Like I said, this week, July 9th, 96 is the episode. There is much more positive to say about this show than we did last week. At least for me, there was. So
I agree.
We will get into that soon. Before we start the show this week, though, I don't think Aaron. I don't think we got any listener questions this week, did we?
We didn't. Lazy bastards.
Lazy bastards. Well, that's fine because I was thinking about something the other day. So I'm gonna my answer is probably gonna be. I'm going to be able to answer right away because you guys, I'm giving you this on the spur of the moment, or as Cornette would say, the sperm of the moment.
I know the answer. I already know the answer.
The question.
Bob Backlund would be great in ECW.
That is the truth. But my question for you guys is, thinking back at all the wrestling you've ever watched, mainly mainstream stuff, because you're going to have a lot more with bad wrestling than decent wrestling. What's a booking decision that you think was a huge mistake that you would change, and how would you have changed it? And mine actually goes back to, I never would have put the NWA title on Ron Garvin in 1987. Big mistake. I actually, myself, would have put it on Barry Windham in 87. Instead of Ronnie Garvin, because Barry Windham was fucking over in 87.
Yeah, but there's a lot of politics involved with that too.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I guess in the seat that I'm in, if I'm booking, then I'm the one that has the book, and there is the politics, but Dusty doesn't have the book. I do, and I don't know why they didn't. You know what I'm talking about? That Barry had such babyface momentum in '87. I don't know why they didn't capitalize on it.
I agree with you, but I wouldn't have put it on Barry. I would have. I've said it a lot on the other show, like our um, We Can't Wrestle podcast. I would have gave that little run or whatever to Rick Steiner.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe, yeah. You can make an argument for that. Damn, I just had somebody. I just had somebody on my mind right now that as soon as you said that, now I can't. I can't even think of who it was. Oh my god, Ronnie Garvin. Ronnie Garvin was just because of was a little political. Barry Windham was a good idea, but his deal was he could never commit. You know, he was never gonna be around if something happened to Dusty. Well, you know, which Dusty wasn't really there. Barry wasn't going to stick around. So I mean, that was just like, you know, that is just like you said. You had the book. That wasn't even going to happen. See, I was thinking, going off of just a couple of years previously, Brad Armstrong. I mean, I paid money. I paid money in '83, I guess it was '83, when they came to Baltimore for Georgia to see Brad and Flair go 60 minutes. Plus, wherever. I mean, I'm looking at it like in a different way, because where Crockett's running at, you know, the Armstrongs were put it on Bob. Fuck, I mean.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I've always, and I know I'm not the only one. It's not like I'm saying anything revolutionary here, but that's always been one of the big ones to me was Garvin. That was just, I don't know, like you said, Chad, it was political. And over the years, I've gone back and watched some like Ron Garvin from the Paphos promotion, or Ron Garvin from Canada, and I have more respect for him. Back then, I didn't know a lot about him and his past. And I just hated like trucker cap, stupid Ron Garvin talking about being a trucker, and I don't know. He just was not over with me at all. So,
yeah, well, I mean, back then when it was still kind of kayfabe, you weren't taking the belt off of him. You know what I mean? You probably weren't going to finish him. That like wasn't going to happen. Hell, I mean, Jimmy Garvin maybe too. I mean, there's a couple of guys that you could have, because it was a short run anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could have just, you know, because they were famous for that shit. Look at how Dusty got so many belts, or Tommy Rich got it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and again, like I said, the reason that Barry sticks out in my mind, and I see all the reasons you guys say maybe not. I just know that he was so over, and like, you know, he had that 60-minute deal with Flair earlier in the year, and the fans were really behind him and they loved him as a baby face. And I think it was a mistake ever turning him heel when they turned him on Luger. I thought that was a mistake, but whatever. Who the hell am I?
Yeah, that was kind of grasping at straws there. They were just like throwing darts at the wall, man. Like they were just trying to figure it out. You know, where's Norman at? Well, is he out of the mental institute? Is he a trucker yet?
Part of me, I think,
he's trucking with Ron Garvin. Yeah.
Turning him heel, I think it's part of, like, you know, like right now people talk about Jericho like glomming himself onto people that are perceived as being over or whatever. Yeah. Dusty would do that, and I think it might not be, but it might be that he probably saw that Barry was probably getting more over as a babyface than he was, and probably sold him on oh baby, we can get you even bigger if we turn you heel. You know what I mean? Because it's like he might eclipse me. So I'm going to get him out of the babyface picture, because even me glomming on him, it's people still like him more than me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a big drop from like, just say 1 and 2 to like 3 and 4. I mean, there wasn't who else was, you know what I mean? After you get from like Dusty, Flair, you know, whatever, and then I don't even think Garvin was a 2. They made him. They made him a 1. You know what I mean? They just kind of like, but there was nobody else there that I think until Steamboat came along, right? That wasn't even until another a year and a half.
Yeah, that was until 89 when he came back. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
man.
and essentially he came by the time he came back, Dusty was gone. It was George Scott booking because Dusty had, told Turner to go fuck themselves or whatever. He was about to go to WWF. And
With Sapphire.
He tried that PWF thing down in Florida and that didn't work out. And then he stranded Uncle Fred down there to carry that promotion and he went to WWF.
I wonder if Lawler's
Big
name
Steel
would've been
Man
brought
or
up.
whatever the fuck his name was.
What about a Lawler?
Do you think Lawler would have went to work for Crockett then, or was he too at that point? Was he too invested in Memphis?
If they would have told him they were giving him the NWA belt, he would have went there in a minute.
Think so?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the NWA belt meant more to him than that crappy serving tray that he won. Yeah, that piece of shit silver belt.
49 times. Yeah.
I'm talking about the AWA title.
Oh, I was thinking about the Memphis belt, CWA or whatever.
He would have had his CWA and his NWA title at the same time. Yeah, he would have went there in a minute.
And he'd taken Lance with him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Lance would have drove him there. Or Hanson Jimmy would have.
Who's the NWA champion? Lawler.
That's a pretty short list of guys that you could pick from in that time period for Ronnie Garvin.
So what's I'm putting you guys on the spot. So if you don't have one that you can think of off the top of your head, it's fine. But Aaron, Chad, either one of you have one a booking decision that you think was a big mistake and how you would fix it?
Well, I don't know how the way I would fix it is obvious, and it's a later, like way later decision. I think all the things you can say that modern WCW did wrong, the dumbest thing they ever did was turning Goldberg heel. Dumbest thing they ever did.
I agree. That was for all the dumb shit Russo did, that was the dumbest shit Russo ever did.
That's why I can't believe they only got like 5 whatever episodes of Who Killed WCW. They only recorded there's only I think there's 5 of them that there is. There's way more than 5.
And the simple decision for that is just to not do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, wasn't that part of trying to pad Flair's record and shit?
I think to be honest with you, I think Russo turning Goldberg heel was okay, and this shows you Vince Russo in a nutshell. But you have the bit. I mean, very very rarely did WCW actually create stars, and that was one of the few stars that they actually created. One of the bigger stars that they created, one of the bigger baby faces they created, and he turned the guy heel to try to swerve people, to try to pop a rating for a show that was never going to come back with him,
just for the sake of doing it.
Yes, just for the sake of doing it, and it was so stupid, and it went over like a lead fucking balloon. They actually kind of reversed it pretty quick.
It's funny because I've actually had this talk with Birdwatcher. Scotty Astro was a fan of the show, and we both agreed that it could have been any one of the 3 count or Judy Bagwell. Put the belt on any one of them 4. We were cool with it.
Judy Bagwell qualifies as a heavyweight.
She's a super heavyweight.
She's like Rhonda Singh.
Yokozuna.
How about you, Chad? Do you have one? Do you have a booking decision that sticks out in your mind?
Would it be Judy Zuna or Yoko
Judy
Bagwell?
Or Yoko Judy?
Oh, a booking decision? I mean, for Christ's sake! I mean, from day one, it's going past Chicago. That's just from day one. Just the even thought of it. is that's like the first crack right there. Is like, where are you going to take all these guys at? I mean, what? You know, you don't have the guys like, you don't have the Von Erichs. You know, you don't have that kind of power down in Texas. You know, you don't have, you know, anywhere. You don't have the I guess Billy Jack Haynes is in the Northwest. You know what I mean? There ain't no, where are you going to take them past that little area?
Do you think that Crockett could have survived longer without having to sell to Ted Turner if they wouldn't have done that?
Of course. He would have survived longer. He would eventually would have collapsed, but he would have survived longer. Oh yeah, without a doubt. He could have easily have gotten syndication in a lot of them old markets. Easily. That wouldn't even been the biggest issue. The biggest issue for him would have been keeping talent. But getting syndication would have been nothing.
I think they would have survived. They wouldn't have been a national thing, but I think they would have survived as a regional company probably until that wrestling bubble burst in like 94, 95.
Oh, you think they would have lasted that long?
Yeah.
That's the other question I always think about, is because, you know, in the conversation when people talk about Vince going national in '84, the national expansion of the WWF, the conversation is always the way TV was going, the way pay-per-view was going. Somebody was going to do it first, whether it was Vince or whoever.
Watts tried it before him.
Yeah, and he failed miserably. That was going to be my question. Could Jim Crockett, because we know Vern couldn't have survived. If Vern would have tried to win national wrestling, probably would have went the way of fucking rollerball or whatever it's called. Because Vern would have went national, but with that product from 1966 in 1986. But do you think the Crockett's could have succeeded like Vince did on a national basis if they would have went national first?
No.
Or was what Vince did what needed to happen for the mainstream?
They wouldn't have been able to do what Vince did, and the reason I say that is because they didn't. And say what you want to say about him, they wouldn't have had the balls to do what Vince did. Say what you want to say about Vince, but Crockett wouldn't have had the balls to go into other people's territories and offer the talent that they had more money and
he wouldn't have had,
I'm gonna. Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to go into territories or like television territories and say, I'll pay you $5,000 not to play their show. You know what I mean? Like he wouldn't have had the balls to do it.
Yeah, the capital wasn't there. He didn't have that. You know what I mean? Because I mean, what was he? He wasn't even probably paying money at all. It was probably just a handshake deal to have his whatever TV on whatever, you know, in South Carolina or
he wouldn't have been able to. He wouldn't have had the capital or the balls to do what Vince did.
Yeah, Vince is pretty much like, what the fuck is a scruple? I don't know what a scruple is.
Yeah.
Vince certainly didn't give a shit.
All right. Well, we dicked around with that long enough. Does anybody else have anything else that we want to talk about before we go into this episode of ECW?
I don't know. I just believe in Joe Hendry.
WWE seems like WWE is going to buy TNA. By the way, it's
buy what from TNA?
That's that. Well, okay, the library, just like they did with WCW.
Could you imagine? All right. Just say that all of a sudden somebody from WWF shows up in TNA and does the whole "we're buying it" kind of thing. Could you imagine the look on Nick Nemeth's face when he sees a WWF official walk in and say, "We now own this," and then there's Nick Nemeth going, "Oh, come on, man."
I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think it's going to be like that, obviously, but I think it's going to acquire it in some way. and like Nate said, I think it's going to be, we're going to buy the library and they're going to pick the 20 or 15 people they want out of it. Like that Josh Alexander guy would probably go. That Jordan Grace, she's obviously going to go.
She already went.
Yeah, she's on NXT
Yeah.
at this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, but she's technically still, TNA or whatever. But
didn't Tony Khan already buy it?
No, he bought Ring of Honor.
Yeah, but I thought he had something going on with TNA.
I don't think so. He may have before had something going on with them, but just the way that with them actually acknowledging TNA on WWE TV so much this year, I just have a feeling if anything, at least TKO is going to buy something or do
you
something.
Do you think that's a classic for sale sign right there from TNA? To letting their talent just go work for it.
Yeah, they're like, do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want. You want to shit in the living room? Shit in the living room, my friend.
Whatever you do, Jordan Grace, get the fuck over. Just please get over. Anything.
I know we shit on TNA a lot, but I'm not like a regular viewer of their programs. But when I watch it, there's good talent on that show that I think WWE could do some stuff with. So
it is kind of slim pickings, though. I mean, tonight was their 20th anniversary show. Like, it was 20 years to the date tonight. And guess who was on it? Frankie Kazarian.
If Vince was still around,
he was on the first one.
If Vince was still around, he'd be like, I want Moose.
Oh,
Moose.
Yeah, he already got Jordan Grace. That's probably him. What'd you say his name was? Aaron Hammerneck, whatever. What'd you say his name was?
Josh Alexander.
Yeah, whatever. That dude. Yeah, there's poor Dreamer will be left out in the cold again.
Good.
Jesus.
Maybe the machine guns. They might bring in the machine guns.
No, I think they may have had an opportunity years ago. I think something happened there. Yeah, but that'd be a great get. But I think something happened between them guys, that they burnt a bridge there or something. I think one of those. Honestly, I don't think it was Saban.
I think one of those guys would end up being one of those dudes that you'd be like, oh, they hired Chris Saban as a producer. Oh, okay. Like, you think he's coming in as a talent, it's just he's just a producer. But no,
favorite Shane Helms.
But with the executives quitting, that's what Nate, I think that's where I think you're kind of right, is that a lot of those executives that have been there for like the entire 20 years have been released and gone away.
It's a writing on the wall kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, well, this episode of ECW we're going to discuss. We start off, Joey gives us footage from last week of the Tommy Dreamer, Brian Lee debacle with the tables, and they show us the part they didn't show us last week with Tommy getting stretchered out of the ECW arena. And my only nitpick with this episode of ECW is we got 2 stretcher jobs on one episode of TV.
We actually got 3, but
oh yeah, you're right. We did. Yeah, I didn't even write the third one fucking down. Yeah.
but thank God, Harry, Todd Gordon, Damage Control, and the Foot Doctor were there.
Dude, speaking of Harry, Todd Gordon, good Lord, put some sleeves on that t-shirt or something.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's Todd the Animal Gordon over here.
God,
oh fuck.
Yeah, but I thought like they already did. They already showed the Dreamer like Brian Lee thing like last week.
They showed the match and they showed the table spot, but they didn't show the stretcher job until this week. Last week, if you remember, it just ended with him going through the tables, and then remember, Chad, you said, "Is this how it ended? Like, is this just how it ended?" Well, now we know there was an aftermath to that, and it was
the best part. The best part about Dreamer getting carted off was nobody cared about Dreamer. All they were doing was chanting ECW.
Could have been anybody. Could have been
nobody
anybody.
was going to his aid. They were just standing outside where the medics were carting him out. It was going ECW.
And I know we should. I know we shit on Tommy Dreamer or whatever, but the bump's insane. It's an insane bump, and it looked fucking great. But what's funny to me was they like Harry Todd Gordon and Damage Control and the Foot Doctor. They load him up onto the stretcher or whatever, and they lift him up over. But they don't even carry him to an ambulance. They just carry him to like another garage area.
It just took him out back.
Yeah, it's like, where are you taking him?
He's
How
gonna
is
get
where he's at right now?
He's gonna get sepsis out there.
Like, how is where he landed any better than where he's gonna wind up?
As much as I've been in that building, I don't even know what part of that building that was. Like, I know once you go past the locker room, there is that part of the building where they kept all them props and shit at. So I'm guessing it was probably that area that may have been a little bit cleaned out. But yeah, I was racking my mind trying to figure out where are they taking this guy to?
Yeah, if you get stretchered out on Nitro, they're taking you to the hospital. If you get stretchered out on Raw, they're taking you to a local medical facility. And if you get stretchered out on ECW, they're taking you to the parking garage.
The corner of Swanson and Ritter.
They're taking you to a Sherlock.
That donut place right up in the corner that cafe everybody went to at night. Yeah, it's just like, come on, man. But I guess they didn't have a whole lot to choose from. You know what I mean? I guess. Yeah. Where are they really going to take him?
You work with what you got, I guess.
Yeah.
20 years later, they find Tommy on Storage Wars. They cut the thing open, and there he is.
Yeah, that rich guy with the MGF's dad opens up the back of the ECW arena, and he's rummaging through garbage, and there's Dreamer laying there with the bandage on his head, the Spirit of '76.
Thought you'd never find me.
He just moves to the side, and you see the negative $15 on the screen when he comes across Broken Tommy Dreamer.
Broken Tommy Dreamer, bust.
Yeah. He has no idea. he's got his stick, and he was ahead like $130, and then he goes, "What is this junk?" And
busted Tommy Dreamer.
Tommy Dreamer's got a bandage and a banana peel on his head.
Tommy Dreamer's never ate a banana.
No.
Well, Joey introduces the show here, and
that's a prop right there. Putting the banana peel on. That sounds like a rib right there, putting the banana peel on Dreamer.
I wrote down here on my next note, Joey does the intro and then confuses the hell out of me. Because this rage of the cage thing is confusing. I don't even know what the fuck. Like, there's gonna be Dreamer and Brian
write
Lee
it down.
Are outside the cage, right? And then Gory and somebody are on top of the cage, and then Stevie Richards is defending Raven's title.
Stevie is outside of the cage. Raven, Nate, did you write down who's in the match?
They're not outside of the cage. They start up on the eagle's nest.
Well, two of them are inside. Raven's inside the cage.
What's going on?
Listen. Raven's inside the cage with somebody. And Brian Lee and Gordy are going to start on the stage. And whichever one of them gets off the stage first gets to get back into the cage. But Tommy Dreamer and Stevie are fighting outside of the cage. And if Tommy can beat Stevie, then Tommy becomes the champion.
Okay. So I'm still confused.
And the only reason I figured that out was because later on Raven tells Stevie he better not lose his belt for him.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew somehow Stevie was defending Raven's title, which I hate that, by the way. But
they tried to put the graphic on the screen that said that Raven's title is not on the line, but if Stevie loses, Raven loses the title. that actually said that on the screen. Because I was trying to make as much sense of it as we are right now out of it. And they said his title is not on the line, but if Stevie loses, Raven loses the belt. Like, what the fuck is that?
This is why I never believed that shoot interview I saw with Paulie where he said he never did coke. I'm like, bullshit. You booked Rage of the Cage, man. You did coke.
It's 30 years later, and I still can't figure out the rules of this goddamn thing.
It's 30 years later, and the guys that were in it still don't remember the rules of the thing.
Well, half of them are dead.
Half of them are dead. Fair enough. Terry Gordy didn't even know he was there.
Oh, clearly he didn't know he was there.
He's like, I just know I'm dropping bombs. That's all I know. I'm dropping bombs.
Jesus Christ.
So the next sequence that we have here, I enjoyed all of it. We've actually been complaining, all three of us, for the past like 4 weeks that they keep talking about eliminators and gangsters and we never see them, and it's bullshit because we like this feud. We want to see them. Well, we got it overtime this week. This is a lot of the gangsters, the eliminators, and the tag team division. The tag team division in ECW at this very moment is pretty fucking strong, if you ask me.
Well, they're all in. Everybody who's in the tag team is in the goddamn ring. I mean, the only team that wasn't mentioned when the whole entire fracas broke out was Axel and Hack. Like, I was mad.
Oh, and the main guys involved in it, they might not be your favorite tag teams ever or your favorite wrestlers ever, but they're all fucking badass human beings. You know what I mean? Like, none of them are anybody you'd want to fuck with.
No.
Yeah, essentially the match is supposed to be the Eliminators versus the Gangstas for the ECW title. The Samoan Gangsta Party comes to the ring as the Gangstas are coming to the ring. The Samoan Gangsta Party comes to the ring and attacks them. The Bruise Brothers. What?
We're gonna abbreviate them as the SGP. It's
all right.
easier.
The SGP sounds like an STD, but the Bruise Brothers also get involved and attack the Gangstas. But one thing I did write down here is because the WWE Network had like the editing, they edit the music, which means they edit the crowd. And in this instance, they actually tried not to make the music overbearing over the commentary and stuff and not annoying. But what made it funny was all this insanity is going down and it's so quiet. Like, the music's quiet, the crowd's quiet, like, everybody's quiet as the gangsters get bloodied and beaten. And, it's, I don't know. I found it amusing that it's so quiet behind them. Like,
well, who the hell was Maddie Smalls? That was my
Rosie.
Who's Rosie. Matt Anawani.
Is he dead?
Yeah, he died.
Him and Pitbull 2 are dead. I mean, one.
Pitbull 1's still alive.
No, he's not. But
yeah, I know he is because he tried to tell me it was going to cost us $200 an hour to interview him.
That's why we're going to interview him for 30 seconds. What good are you? Done.
None. No, but yeah,
$250 an
hour. I thought it was funny though that it was quiet while all of this insanity was going down because of the editing. But
it was too hard to write notes down.
It was, and it's that insanity, and the Bruise Brothers. It was kind of funny because the feud is supposed to. I don't know why I just went through puberty there. The feud is supposed to be the Samoan Gangsta Party and the Gangstas, but they actually gave most of the heat to the Bruise Brothers here. They're the ones that actually like bloodied up New Jack, and but anyway, that beat down.
Part of that because I think that's partly because they were like, who do we think's gonna like be here longer?
Right.
Well, yeah, clearly because I'm, I am, or I guess I am. I was pretty good friends with Samu, and he wasn't sticking around. There's no chance he was sticking around.
So the Gangstas supposedly are out now. They can't be in the match as advertised. So the Eliminators call out the Bruise Brothers. The Eliminators and the Bruise Brothers have a match, but the Gangsters do come back out and interfere in that. And my only problem, I don't have much of a problem with this because I like the insanity. I thought this was all really good. My only problem was now that the Gangsters are back out, why don't they get to have their title match? It's bullshit.
Dude, because
am I wrong? I mean, it's bullshit. Like, we should have our title match. We came back out.
well, they could have easily have went back and asked Commissioner Todd Gordon, but he was too busy asking everybody, "How do I look with this hairy arms?"
Yeah, can you shave my back?
Yeah, I mean, because Joey brought it up, right?
If he did, I didn't hear it. I'm not saying he didn't, but if he did, I missed it.
He mentioned something about the tag team belts, like either he didn't know if they were on the line, or we have to get some ruling about it. I think that's what he said. We have to get like a ruling or the tag team belts on the line, because it just broke out with all these teams.
Mhm.
And
I think he brought that. I think he brought that up when the Eliminators challenged the Bruise Brothers. But like Nate's saying, like the Gangsters came back. It's like, well, obviously they're okay now, so why can't we have our
Advertised
title
match?
match?
Yeah.
30 years later, and we still got more questions than answers. God damn.
If Paul Heyman was here, he'd be like, riddle me this. What the fuck was I thinking? But even though it's confusing, it's still entertaining. Like I said, I got to say, I'm not shitting on this at all. I thought it was entertaining. This is actually the most entertained I've been by the Bruise Brothers since they've been in ECW. Because I'm not
It was a full-fledged circus.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them. And this was insanity. It's going to get crazier as the show goes on. But
I mean, just think when you go to a circus and you're walking and you're looking at one exhibit. You're looking at one thing that's there, and all of a sudden there's the big ring of fire, and the guy's gonna jump to the ring of fire. So you turn your head, look at that. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden there's the bearded Todd Gordon.
Yeah, and now here's the dirt bike kid riding the motorcycle around the little fucking ball.
Yeah. It was like turning a channel without watching TV. It was like so much going on. It was like just like a festival, like right there. And poor Axel and Hack, as soon as they were dumped out of the ring, they weren't even brought up again.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The next thing we have is it's the Samoan Gangsta Party against Axel Rotten and Hack Myers. The match that they did have was fine. I did appreciate the ECW arena crowd chanting Yokozuna.
Yeah, they chanted that at
Matty Smalls. And then here we go again. The Gangsters come out after the Samoans hit the headbutt from the top rope. It looks like they're going to get the victory over Hack and Axel. The Gangsters come out. The Eliminators are back out. The Bruise Brothers are back out. And then the locker room just empties into the ring. And like Chad said, it's like a fucking circus. Everybody's out there. You don't know what the fuck's going on. Who's fighting who? Who's feuding with who? It's just insanity in the ECW arena.
And that's where Joey just totally disrespected Axel and Hack as a tag team. Totally did. Like when after the brawl broke out and Axel and then Joey made a comment about all the tag teams being out there at one time, which was like 8 guys were out there fighting. And he was making a comment about all the tag teams where all of a sudden Axel and Hack were gone. they were kind of being a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
But not anymore. No, not anymore. They were just in and out.
Did anybody else see that little short black dude that was in there breaking up the fight in the green shorts?
I don't think so.
Yeah. There was like
I was kind of looking for people that I knew, but no, I didn't see him.
For like 30 seconds. I was like, is that Coco Beware? And I was like, no, it's not. It was just some little fat, little black stagehand guy or whatever. But for a minute, I thought Coco Beware was in the ring because he had on like long green pants. So it kind of looked like high energy Coco pants. I'm like, Coco Beware was in ECW? And then I was like, nah.
He brought Norvell Austin with him.
I don't think he did, but yeah.
But Aaron, what did you think of this whole thing?
I liked it. I liked the fact that it was like a through line for the show, and it made sense of like these guys would keep coming back. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it made all the people that got, I don't want to say, it made the gangsters look like they were badasses, because it's like, oh yeah, we just got our asses kicked, but why are we just going to sit in the back if the doctor, so you're hurt or whatever? They'd
I'll
want to
tell
go
you
back
exactly
after
what it
and get their
reminded me
revenge.
of. It reminded me of somebody was late for the show. Like
That too, I was going to bring that up. It was going to be like those old shows where they talk about like they booked like 8 guys on the show, and you'd have like a singles match, a tag match, and then a battle royal.
Yeah,
And people thought they got a big show.
To me, it seemed like somebody's plane was Shane. Probably, it was probably Shane. Like somebody was running late, so Paul just said, "Fuck it, man." You know what I mean? We need this tag match to go like an hour. Just go out there and just do something until we get any word that whoever's going to be there is going to be there. Because that's all it was to me, was just a whole bunch of shit.
They got 35 minutes out of nothing really, and it was exciting the entire time.
Was that 35 minutes our time or their time?
Well, just on the show.
Okay.
Like,
so
I'm sure they cut it up.
Easily could have been an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, in the building it probably was. I'm just saying on hardcore TV, they got 35 minutes out of what, 8 guys? It was good.
Yeah,
shit.
because Joey at one point mentions the fact that it's past 1 o'clock in the morning. He brought that up.
It was like I said, I enjoyed it, and it was it was kind of like, I don't want to say old school type booking, but it almost was.
Oh, if you were there, you weren't going to say shit about that. You know what I mean? You were not going to walk out of there going, "Oh man, that sucked. No, that was terrible." No chance. If you were there in that building, watching that circus going on in there, you know what I mean? It was great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I appreciated it, because that's like I said, it was just they maximized 8 guys and got 35 minutes of TV out of it. I thought it was really good.
And whether it was to cover up something or not, it made me, like I just said, it made me notice, wow, they've got to, put over the tag division. Just long and short of it, put over this tag division, because it showed you how many people are competing for the title. They really want the title. Look at all these guys out here, busting each other up and bloodying each other up, and it's all because they want the ECW tag team title. So not only does it entertain you, but it's getting to a point and pushing feuds for the future too. So, and like Aaron said, some of these guys aren't going to be around very long, but it is what it is. That night in the arena, who knew? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also did like the fact that. Oh, go ahead, Chad. Sorry.
What was Sammy's name? Smooth Sammy Silk.
Smooth Silk.
It was like Smooth Sammy Silk.
Smooth Sammy Silk.
I was like, Jesus,
I was gonna point out him, like, guys were like taking weapons and getting hit with shit, but nobody was hitting Samu with anything. Like,
nobody was going.
Samu wasn't. Samu was like, "You ain't hitting me with a toaster. That shit ain't fucking happening." Ain't
nobody out there, but ain't nobody in that ring. All 7 of them other guys were not going to do shit to Sammy. That just was not going to happen, because that would have been disastrous for all 7 of them guys.
Like I said, I'm not a worker or whatever, and I don't know how shit goes down in the back, but I'm sure he was like, "You ain't hitting me with a fucking."
Oh, that's Nintendo. Exactly how shit went down in the back, Aaron. That was the end of that conversation.
He was like, I was watching that show we were at last time, and you guys were hitting each other with cast iron skillets. We won't be having any of that shit with Samu tonight.
Dude, he didn't even go that far, Nate. While all the other guys were going over the match, Shamey was just sitting there shaking his head. Just Nope. He wasn't going to tell them they weren't going to do shit. They just knew while they were going over the match, we ain't going to do shit to Sammy. Sammy, he'll kill us. That ain't happening.
It was shortly after this. He just went home, didn't he? Like he didn't like do indies and shit like Fatu did he? Very long after the head shrinkers were over.
No, he always had a gig with the school.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. That's true. Yeah.
And he always had a gig. I mean, that's when I knew Sammy because I would always see him on Friday and Saturday nights when he'd work for Rambo in Western Maryland because it was only like an hour and a half drive for him or so from where we ran at, and he got paid in weed. I mean, it wasn't like he was getting paid. He wasn't making a lot of money or anything. He was just there because he needed to get an ounce. But yeah, he didn't
like I said. I know everybody got hit with something, but nobody hit Samu.
No, they weren't good. They weren't going to. Because if they would have hit Sammy with something, Sammy was going to hit them with something, and that was really going to be something.
Yeah, just his head, and that would be enough.
I'll tell you how bad. Here's a real quick story about how bad Sammy is. We brought him in one time in Maryland, and the guy who paid the guys who was the promoter booker, he made himself a main event guy, and he wanted to put himself in the main event with Sammy. Well, they talked about a spot where the guy got tied into the ropes, with the arms and the ropes, whatever, and he was supposed to take a kick from Sammy, a side kick from Sammy. Well, guess who got knocked out? The guy who eventually handed Sammy his money.
Please, sir, may I have another? Yeah.
He came back in the locker room and he said, "Hey, boss, goddamn, why hit me so hard?" Sammy didn't have an answer. He just kind of like looked at him.
You put yourself in a position where you couldn't get your hands up, idiot.
Pretty much.
All right. So the next thing we see on this show is clipped footage of Rob Van Dam versus Sabu. And this is where Chad was alluding to, where Joey talks about how it's like almost 1:00 in the morning in the ECW arena. In the meantime, as shit has gone down, the rope has snapped, the ring broke. It's 100 degrees in the ECW arena.
120 degrees.
Can you imagine the smell of that crowd at 120 degrees? Fuck.
And just imagine, like, just the
level, old bacon grease,
like a bag of pork rinds that's been left outside for months.
And Tommy Dreamer.
One of my favorite Bobby Heenan jokes smelled like old socks in a Buick.
Because there's no alcohol rules, like where they can serve alcohol and there. So they were serving beer well into that night. Them fans, oh my God, they had to have been all tuned up by this.
Yeah, he got BO and beer farts and
imagine a Buck Robley beer fart.
And
I'm sure he was there.
And not to mention you're baking it in a 120 degree arena.
A hat guy shark. Holy
I'm
Christ.
sure Buck Robley was there. I didn't see him on this week's show.
Like it smells like a porta potty in here.
It smells like where they're taking Tommy Dreamer to.
Yeah.
Tommy Dreamer was just happy for the 27 seconds he was lifted over it. He's like, oh.
He was so glad to be outside. He was happier smelling the exhaust from 95 overpass.
Fresh air, Jesus.
No, it wasn't fresh. It wasn't fresh air. It was the overpass of 95.
Fresh air. Sorry.
Tommy's like, give me the pollution over a Buck Robley shart.
1,200 Buck Robley's fucking beer farting. That's when they should have did the Shaw shit spot. fuck? Yeah, where was Buck Robley in this episode? I didn't see him at all. Did you guys see him?
I think he passed out from the heat.
Nobody called him yellow though.
Then they just stretched him over and laid him next to Tommy Dreamer.
I didn't see any of the regular people there on this episode. Honestly, I didn't see Bella. I didn't see Mary Kay. I didn't see Buck. I didn't see Sarge. Was that guy there?
I think I did see him. And I always call him Diesel Guy. Diesel Guy.
Howard Stern looking dude.
The guy with the beard and the hat or the long hair. Yeah. But yeah, now how badly was this ring really broken? Does anybody know?
The cable underneath snapped.
Okay. Because with a snapped rope and a broken ring, Sabu and RVD worked fucking wonders here.
That spot is an actual rotten classic. Because underneath that ring, there's 4 cables, and they all hook in the center of the ring. I don't know if that ring has a spring in there or not. In the middle of it, it might not, because I think that ring may have been wooden. I'm not sure, but either way, they all hook in the middle, and just say remember I was talking about if somebody was late for a show or something like that, and they were stalling for time. Well, Axel knows how to hit the turnbuckles at the right speed and the right time where he could snap that cable, and that's exactly what happened. I don't know when it happened, what match it happened during, but yeah, that's what happened. Because I love the sagging ropes, dude. Because as soon as Joey acknowledged it, I was thinking well, I don't know what they're gonna do about this. But they still fucking made chicken salad.
That's what I was asked, Chad, was obviously I'm not a worker or whatever, but to me, and it might not be as impressive as I think it is, but is it as impressive as I think it is that Sabu was able to do that triple jump moonsault and land on a sagging rope and still be able to do his shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only thing he wasn't able to do off that rope was get any sort of a bounce. So he had to do the moonsault. The moonsault was 100% on him because he didn't have one bit of a bounce from that top rope whatsoever. And when I saw him set it up, I'm going, there's no way he's doing this. I can't. Why is he going to bother? Because I thought he was going to jump to the middle rope, which I thought would have been really cool if he would have bounced, jumped right through the top rope to the middle rope and then bounced off of that. But when I saw him, because you noticed he kind of stood on the top rope for a millisecond.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's to me that seems super fucking impressive if you can do that on a rope that has no.
It's flimsy.
Yeah,
it's not tight.
It has no tightness to it. So I think that looked fucking impressive as hell.
I know that when during that right after that happened, I know that at one point I think Rob Van Dam backed I think Sabu in the corner, and I bet you he probably said, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? Something was said. I don't know what was said, what the communication was, but I guarantee you was said that, "Oh fuck," you know what I mean? What are we gonna do now? And Sabu was like, "Fuck it, we'll make it happen."
And a question from me to Chad: would a match like that have gone super duper fucking south had it not been two guys that knew each other as well as those two guys do?
Yeah.
They're simpatico. They're able to read each other really well. So I'm sure that if that would have been just two guys that two guys working with each other for the first time, and that shit happens, and Paulie's like, "You're still got to go out and work."
I mean, just look at it this way. Imagine if it would have happened to the Young Bucks. What do you think they would have done? Oh, they would have fucking been like, or El Penta Zero Money, whatever his name is. Or You know what I mean?
El Pento draws 0 money.
Yeah, or any of them guys that require all that stuff. I'm sure there would have been, their hearts would have been like, oh, now what do I do? I gotta work. I'm sure Axel wasn't mad. You know what I mean? If that would have happened to Axel, oh well, what do I care?
But yeah, him being able to do that triple jump off a broken rope, and him still being able to do the DDT into the table spot and all that shit. I think, to me, it shows, just in this match, it shows how fucking really, really good Sabu was.
You mean versatile? That's probably the word you're looking for.
Yeah.
Because I know that it had to go through all their minds is like, shit, how are we gonna do this? You know? And I'm sure Sabu was just like, dude, I'm still gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
If I fall, I fall, but fuck it, let's see what happens.
It wouldn't be the first time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Not accomplishing what he wants to accomplish is literally part of Sabu's gimmick.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And he even does it in the match where he does that spot where he's gonna hit it again. Like, he goes to do the triple moonsault again, and like nuts himself on the ropes on purpose. Like,
I know.
I doubt.
All right.
I bet he ad-libbed that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that wasn't something that was planned. He probably just said, "Fuck it, the ropes are broke. I'll ad-lib it." You know?
Yeah, I'm glad you caught that, because he jumped totally sideways when he did that, and I was like, he just did it on purpose.
So yeah, it's
buying
like,
time, man. Buying time.
I think this is a good, because I've read where people say Sabu was just a spot guy or whatever. It's like, I don't agree with that, and I think this is a good example of how fucking good he really was.
All right, Aaron, give me the finish. Give us the finish for the match here.
Sabu hits that that insane Iranian facebuster or whatever, and he can barely pin him, and he rolls over, pins him 1, 2, 3, and him and Rob both get stretchered out. I mean,
Yes.
it was a good.
That's why I wanted you to give the finish, because I wrote down. That's why when you said no, there were 3 stretcher jobs, I didn't write down that Rob was stretchered out. I just wrote down here that Sabu was stretchered out. But yes, both men were stretchered out of this match.
Everybody was stretched out.
And if I don't want to like spoil anything, but I think this is the match where, because they've been doing that, like, Rob doesn't have any respect for Sabu or whatever, but I think this is the first like match where Rob is starting to, his character is starting to be like, Sabu's badass. I kind of respect this.
We're heading toward them becoming friends as opposed to enemies.
Yeah.
Well, it's the building towards the respect. I mean,
yeah,
that's what the entire feud was based on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna. I mean, that just goes to tell you right then and there, like, that's what their relationship should be based on. Their friendship should be based. They ain't gotta like each other, but they gotta know damn well that, you know, if they're that good beating each other up, imagine if we team up, we could beat everybody up.
Yeah, right, exactly. But yeah, overall that was good shit. And then we roll in to end the show with Pulp Fiction. We get, like Aaron alluded to earlier, Raven and Richards
doing the promo
again. In the playground again. And Raven tells Richards, "You better not lose my belt." And again, it's stupid that Richards is defending Raven's belt. It would be one thing. It would be one thing if they told us Raven was injured or something.
Well, how do we know that he wasn't?
Right. Well, no, but tell me that, because if you don't tell me that, then I'm like, why is this guy who's never even earned a world championship match allowed to defend the world championship? To me, that's silly.
Oh, so you mean like they should have like pulled the curtain back and told you why the strings were pulled to do it that way,
So, yeah, something.
as opposed to just saying they're going to do it.
Other than that, that's like turning on Monday Night Raw and going, WWF champion Bret Hart, he's not defending his title tonight, but Barry Horowitz is going to defend it for him. It's stupid. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. They never acknowledge why. I mean,
and maybe they do later. I don't know. But for this episode, in this isolated 45 minutes, I thought that was silly.
I tell you one thing: if I was Stevie Richards though, and Raven told me you better not lose that belt, I ain't fucking checking in at the airport. I'm carrying that bitch with me. You know what I'm saying? I know, okay, boss, I ain't losing that belt. I'm going to wear it to the airport. I'm going to wear it in the cab. I'm going to wear it to the hotel. Ain't nobody, you know what I mean? I ain't losing that belt, boss.
We get a bunch of segments within the Pulp Fiction of Todd Gordon with Stevie Richards
the Animal
and
Gordon.
Blue Meanie office.
Todd the Animal Gordon.
When they went into his office, he said, "Mine."
That's what he said every time somebody would try to pawn something.
Hey, real quick, I didn't get to squeeze it in earlier, but do you think they got them all them stretchers from Ox Baker's place? Like the Ox carryout service. I was actually hoping that somebody would have been smart enough to spray paint like the Ox's carryout service on one of them stretchers. They went through so many of them.
He would have been a fun guy in ECW. He would have been a fun guy in ECW. He would have been a fun guy in ECW. we talk about all the time. People in ECW. Ox Baker in ECW. That would have been fun.
But he should have managed job guys. That's what I think. Him managing Puerto Ricano. that would have been fun.
He carries them to the ring.
No. 100% chance. Ox Baker's barely carried himself to the ring.
Meanie does Blue Dust. He does Sir Meanie. He does Colonel Domini in this thing. I don't know. It is what it is. But they're doing all this in Todd Gordon's office. Todd Gordon obviously is frustrated with them.
All that shit's just making Raven laugh. He's just humoring himself.
Oh yeah.
Look at this fat bastard.
Yeah.
We have some of the competitors in the TV title match that's coming up, the 4-way TV title match. Two cold cuts of promo.
That, by the way.
Same. 2 cold cuts of promo. Douglas cuts a promo. Jericho cuts a promo.
Who's still there, by the way?
I actually liked the Douglas promo.
I did too.
Well, he clearly got hard weighed. That was not a very good gig job that he was getting. He had them bandages on his head. That was a lousy gig job. That was a gig job. That was like they were going all over the place. It was like a cut, like a real cut, not a gig mark. It was like he got busted open, you know.
Like I like him being like.
You could tell by the way the bandages were on his head that he got fucked up.
Like I liked him not saying that he wasn't gonna go because like a lot of guys like baby faces or whatever. It's like I'm not gonna go to the hospital. I like them saying like Shane, we got to take you to the hospital, and he was like, I know I got to go to the hospital. Tell those homeless people and those people without insurance. Shane Douglas is showing up, and I go in the front because I have insurance. I have money.
Yeah, he did say insurance.
I got insurance. Tell those homeless people to sit the fuck
down. Hey man,
I'm coming in first.
You last 9 months at Walmart, you get insurance. I mean, so Shane had pretty good insurance there.
Hashtag truth.
But they did show Patricia again, though.
Yeah.
I'm always happy when they show her. God damn, whatever happened to her. I don't think I want to know now.
Other than the TV title stuff here, we do have a short promo with Pitbull 2 and Francine. which obviously this is all leading to Francine joining Shane Douglas. We're getting there. And I have down the Samoan Gangsta Party promo, the Gangstas promo, and then we end the show with Stevie Richards talking about the Sandman. And the Sandman's the other guy that's in that cage thing here, and that was the name that I forgot.
Yeah, that's it. That's Sandman and Raven start it. And they're in the cage together.
We're still trying to figure this out.
I'm not going to explain it. And it's not going to make sense even after I explain it. But Sandman and Raven start in the cage. And
Raven's even in the match and Stevie is defending his title? What the fuck is going on?
Yes. Because Raven doesn't have to lose the match to lose the title.
Sandman and Raven start in the cage. Brian Lee and Terry Gordy are starting on the stage.
On the stage.
And the first guy off of the stage gets to get into the cage. So then it's a 2-on-1.
God.
And Tommy and Stevie are having a Falls Count Anywhere match. And if Tommy pins Stevie, then Tommy now becomes the ECW champion.
Sure.
And Paul Heyman never did cocaine.
And Paul Heyman's explaining this to Joey Styles, and Joey's like, how the fuck am I going to call this?
What?
And he's just like, Mrs. Heyman, are my jeans out of the dryer yet? I don't know what's going on.
You got all this going on. You got George, you got Todd the Animal Gordon running around.
Somebody's starting the match at Dairy Queen, and they have to make it to McDonald's, and then they get in the cage, and there's a quarter pounder involved. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but we're gonna find out.
Why?
And that
why
quarter pound, and that quarter pound.
Have you ever watched growing up where the object of the match was to get in the cage?
It's like that stupid reverse battle royal thing they did in Impact.
Oh, I don't even know what that is, but even just the fact you said it sounds stupid. Reverse battle royal, you have to go under the ropes?
You have to get into the ring. You start outside.
It was 20 guys stumbling around, fighting outside of the ring, trying to figure out how to get into the ring.
It's fucking stupid.
Wow.
Like, even Sable knew how to get in the ring.
And that says a lot.
And she had triple D's and high heels, man. And she still figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that says a lot right there. I don't know. I'm glad you tried to explain it to me because I don't know what the hell is going on.
Well, anyway, other than that confusion, overall, especially based on the fact that we had kind of a down episode last week of ECW.
And Pulp Fiction ended with Sandboy and Tori. So
yes,
that.
I'm sorry. I skipped that.
That's my second favorite ECW angle. So I like Sandboy and Tori being brainwashed by Raven. It's good shit.
And I gave this episode of the show a B+. I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching the show. Other than the confusing shit with the cage match, I know that's kind of a comedy bit, whatever. But I actually did really enjoy this episode of ECW a lot more than I did last week, especially.
Well, my grade, I don't have a grade. I have grades. I have a C, I have a B, I have a B+. I have a C+, and I go back to a B. So I guess I'll meet in the middle, right?
You ran the gamut, yeah.
Yeah, because it went all over the place. The only thing it didn't have was Bubba Ray on the phone. They could have just had Bubba Ray on the phone.
Dudleys.
No Dudleys. Come on, man. You're pissing me off here.
And if you're gonna do this Rage of the Cage thing, you gotta. If you're gonna do it, like they play Natural Born Thrillers during the Gangstas matches. During that thing, they should have played like fucking Yakety Sax. I just saw this shit going on around it.
That's got to be the Dudley's music. when they, why weren't they on there? Where the fuck were they at? Everybody else was on the goddamn show.
At least show them running through the parking lot again.
Just give me something over here.
They were probably going to go out, but they were probably going to go out, but they were trying to figure out the cage match step. And they were like, you know?
And then
Like,
finally, Big Dick Dudley explains it to them succinctly. Like all these years, he's just been going, and they ask him that, and he's like, well, gentlemen, you see.
That's why he slams the phone down. Because Paul was trying to explain the rules of the cage match to him. And at the end of the conversation, he says, you guys aren't even in it. what do you care?
Why am I talking to you, sir?
Yeah. Dude, I guess I'll call it a B. Yeah, I guess. Because it was all over the fucking place, man. Which was, I guess it's good. And it's better if you were there. I'm telling you, it was solid watching it. And if I could have watched it in a better environment than on my phone, you know, if I would have been like in a big room with a big TV and I would have had a grand old time watching this shit, you know, just laughing at it and everything going, God damn, that's crazy and shit. But yeah, it was, I guess I'll give it a B, man.
I gave it a B+. I enjoyed it. Nothing bored me, and I'd give it a B+. Nothing bored me, and I know we give
explaining the goddamn cage rules.
Yeah, but that was so funny to me because I knew watching.
He should have played Joey sax during that.
Watching Joey explain it, I was like, I know Nate or Chad are gonna be like, "What the fuck," you know. But I enjoyed it, and I know like I said, I know we give Tommy some shit or whatever, but I even liked him going through those tables. It's a hell of a spot, and them carrying him out. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. I really had no complaints about the show.
All right, guys. Well, as we work towards signing off here, any parting words for our listeners this week of Reliving the Extreme?
Yeah, don't accept any friend requests from Jody Shepard.
She's from Nigeria.
No, yeah. I'm not going out with her tomorrow night. Let's put it that way.
Aaron?
It's a long bus trip.
Just what I usually say. Just like the show.
Tell a
Give
friend.
it 5 stars, comments, all that. Tell your friends. Tell your wives.
And as I always say, tell your mistresses.
Tell who did Chad go on a date with? Jody Hamilton?
Apparently. Hopefully she's wearing a mask.
The flame. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week.
The flame is going to go ass in. 10.
On Reliving the Extreme.